So I saw The Suicide Squad. Hi everyone, I'm Brandon Prosick and this is the So I Saw Show, giving you my latest review. If you haven't seen the show here before, what I like to do is talk about the goods, talk about the bads, and then give you my overall rating. For all those people who think a lot of reviewers are just being DC haters, let me tell you where I'm coming from just so you know. I have not seen Man of Steel. I have not seen Batman vs. Superman. The trailers never intrigued me enough to go see it in theaters. Haven't quite picked it up on Redbox, but I am going to borrow them from a friend and give them a chance. But before you think I'm just a rabid Marvel lover and a DC hater, let me just go on record that saying, if you don't know this, The Dark Knight is my favorite film of all time. Not just comic book movies, of all time. So that means I do love DC, just when they actually do their movies well and not treat them like shit. But let's not just talk about all the controversy, and I'm going to talk about the good things in the film to kick things off, just so show you there are some positives. First things first, Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn, just plain and simple. Like, there's no one I think that could have done a better job. She kills it in this role. She nails a perfect representation from the comics, from the Batman the Animated Series. Like, she just nails it, and pretty much every scene that she's in and she gets to shine in, she steals. I'll admit, when it comes to Will Smith, I was on the fence about him being Deadshot, mainly because I thought his ego would try to make the film all about him, and you sort of see that, but he doesn't quite overshadow everyone else. Viola Davis did a good job, although she didn't really do anything that she hasn't done differently. If you've seen her in How to Get Away with Murder, she's pretty much doing that. Jay Hernandez as Diablo, I think it was pretty good. I think he took a character that I hadn't really heard of or I didn't really give a shit about, and he made it entertaining. And out of a lot of the characters in the movie, he actually has an arc, believe it or not. Jared Leto, however, was kind of a background guy in this movie, so I'm going to wait to give my full judgment of his performance until I see him in a full-on supporting or full-on main character in a film. One of the main things about this film that worked was the performances. I think the beginning of the film was actually pretty good. It was very snappy, introducing all the characters, giving a little bit of backstory, but that's all I really have to say about the good things at this moment. I'm going to jump on over to the bad things. My number one bad thing about this movie, and I said it to many of my friends when I was watching the trailers, I know the movie's about all villains, but don't have the bad guys say we're bad guys. I don't know how many times it had to be like 7, 8, 9 times that someone's character said we're bad guys. Like, bad guys don't say they're bad guys. Because most bad guys, when they look at how they do things, they don't consider themselves a villain. They don't consider themselves bad guys because they have a reason for doing what they do. I know Marvel in the cinematic universe does not have a good track record with villains besides Loki, but none of them actually said the words, we're bad guys. Second bad thing about this movie is that this is a movie about villains coming together to try to stop another potential villain, which is funny because you'd think a movie about villains, the good thing would be the villain. No, not in this case. The worst thing about this movie is the actual villain that the Suicide Squad is trying to defeat. Another bad thing I didn't like about this movie, I didn't like Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag. I didn't really care about him at all. They tried to give you this little backstory reason, but it wasn't enough for me. Tom Hardy was supposed to be this role, but had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts. I would have liked to see that because they probably would have upped that role more. Last bad thing I'm going to bring up about the film is, and this is something I haven't really brought up in a lot of movies before because usually it's something that isn't that big of a problem, and that's the film's editing. You can kind of tell that they wanted to do this one thing and then they kind of got slapped down with some new footage and they're trying to piece things together, shove things where they don't fit, and there's scenes that are just very awkwardly slapped together. But what are my overall thoughts? When you read online about how David Ayer, the writer-director, only had 5 weeks to write this movie, it shows. It shows because a lot of this movie feels like this is a first draft of what could have been a really good movie. So what am I going to give my overall rating? I'm going to give this, the first time I've ever actually given this, is going to be my number 4 rating, which is, yeah, should have Redboxed that. not quite worth ticket price. The only nice thing is that my buddy Andrew actually paid for my ticket because he owed me money. So technically I didn't financially support this movie. What did you guys think of Suicide Squad? Are you part of the loyal fan base that is saying it's amazing and that critics are just hating on it? Or are you part of the community that is like me, that's just like, look, I'm tired of settling for average. I want good. If you could do me a big, huge favor, click the red button below, subscribe to the Entertainment Buffet channel. That'd be great. We got tons of new content coming your way, including animation sketches, live action sketches, web shows, tons of stuff coming your way if you just want to subscribe. We also have our Entertainment Buffet podcast on iTunes. Check that out every other Tuesday. I'll put the link in the description below if you can subscribe on iTunes, all that jazz. Check out Movie Trailer Trash. It's my buddy Charlie and Bethany Duber's podcast. It's fun, and we're starting to make episodes available on our YouTube page as well. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter's right down there. Or if you'd like to check out some of my written work, I write for moviepilot.com as a verified creator. So just check me out, moviepilot.com/Brandon Prosek. Alright guys, thanks for watching. And now you saw the So I Saw show.